Hello to you all, and another warm welcome to the latest in the Meridian podcast series, where we explore the challenges of managing VAT complexity within SAP. I'm Adam Smith, the Commercial Director here at Meridian. Today we're going to be talking about the automation of triangulation flows. Now, triangulation is one of the most complex areas in VAT. It's probably what we're asked about most here in the tax team at Meridian, and whenever we put out any content relating to triangulation, we always get a lot of traction. So it's clearly a big issue. As many of you be aware, many companies manually select a triangulation flow in SAP. And as always, if you're introducing a manual element into the process, you open yourself up to risk. Ensuring your staff correctly recognise when triangulation applies can be a huge challenge. So certainly something to get our teeth into here. To discuss this today, we have, as always, our very own Nazar Zaidi, the Director of Product Management here at Meridian. And joining us today is Sreedhar Kurella, who's the Senior Manager, Tax Technology at our partners, Ryan. Nazar, over to you.
Thank you, Adam, for that introduction. As you mentioned, many businesses will be involved in three-party transactions, which qualify for the EU triangulation simplification. The rules behind the EU triangulation are very complex. In particular, the VAT treatment of such flows can be impacted by the middleman being VAT registered in the country of destination, as well as the Incoterms used on the delivery. Standard SAP only has limited functionality within this area and is very much reliant on users manually ticking the triangulation indicator during the sales order process. As a result, as Adam mentioned, ensuring staff can correctly recognize when triangulation applies can be a significant challenge for multinational businesses. So a question perhaps for you, Sreedhar. Do you see evidence within your client base of complexities around triangulation being a significant issue?
Yeah, thank you, Nazar, for bringing this important topic to this discussion. EU triangulation simplification and its automation in SAP is one of the common concerns we hear from our clients. The reasons are typically twofold. Customer service representatives, usually the user base who will be responsible for keying in the sales order, not being a VAT expert, unable to identify these scenarios accurately. And poor SAP design that is not flexible enough to address this complex requirement.
Yeah, thank you, Sreedhar. I think you've raised a really important point, specifically around sales order staff not being VAT experts. In that regard, do you have clients which end up relying on these sales order staff to manually recognize a triangulation flow and correctly tick the indicator in SAP?
Yeah, so that is an interesting question, actually. So the manual triangulation indicator is one of the underutilized SAP functionalities. My answer to your question is yes and no. We've seen clients who were not aware of this flag at all, this indicator, which is in the sales order process. We've also seen clients who use this flag in the sales order entry process, but purely at a work process level. That is, the person who keys in the sales order manually selects this indicator for certain transactions. So obviously this would be backed up by either a work process documentation or the person's knowledge, prior experience. We've had very few clients who were able to automate this field in SAP in their overall VAT automation process. So Nazar, perhaps I have one question I would like to ask. Can you outline how Meridian automates the triangulation check in SAP system?
Sure, thank you, Sreedhar. So the way the Meridian functionality works is, firstly, we have underlying rules within the Meridian VAT add-on, which recognize when a triangulation supply takes place. So it's checking all the standard conditions of triangulation. Are there three parties involved? Are there three different EU countries? Does party C, the end customer, have a VAT ID in the destination country? Does party B have a VAT registration in its own VAT ID country? And so forth. And once those rules have been taken into account, the Meridian functionality will automatically update, firstly, the manual indicator within the sales order, but secondly, our functionality will dynamically update the customer tax classification in that particular sales order. And so, for example, we will ignore what it says in the master data and change the CTC to, say, T for triangulation. That then allows our clients rather to trigger a completely different VAT code, one relating to triangulation, rather than say intra-EU dispatches. And likewise, we have very similar functionality on the purchase side, because that's also something that's often missed when clients are trying to make sure that triangulation is correctly reported, the purchase side as well as the sales side. So yeah, that's in a sort of nutshell how Meridian works. We then also have certain additional tables within the Meridian VAT add-on, which can be managed by a cockpit owner within our clients. And those tables allow us to deal with country by country exceptions. So a very popular one that clients use is where party B is registered in the destination country. We know that certain countries will allow triangulation to still be applied and other countries won't. So yeah, that's a summary of how the Meridian VAT add-on allows our clients to automate triangulation within the system.
How does the VAT add-on cater for updates on the EU triangulation rules? Would you mind explaining that?
Yeah, so that's a very good question because, of course, EU triangulation is a complex area. There will occasionally be significant case law that can impact on specific complexities, and also certain countries could perhaps change their position in respect to some of the complexities like being VAT registered in the destination country. So in general, the VAT add-on system is designed to ensure that country-specific complexities can be handled by tables. So the one I mentioned just earlier, when you're Party B, VAT registered in the destination country, we have a specific table which sets out which countries allow triangulation and which don't. And the advantage of that is if there is a change in a particular country's position, there is no requirement then to have a big IT project to change the underlying rules within the system. It's just a case of updating the system. So perhaps one sort of follow-up question for you, Sreedhar. In light of the above risks to staff manually trying to identify triangulation flows and the complexities you see here, are you seeing an increasing awareness amongst your client base to automate the VAT determination in this area?
Absolutely. We are seeing a lot more interest with our clients to automate this, not just the indicator, the whole triangulation simplification process, both AR and AP side, when we discuss overall VAT automation in SAP. I think that the best place to be in for anyone is to consider this topic right in the planning phase of the automation project. The automation of VAT determination is what our clients desire for. However, having an audit trail functionality to this automation is like cherry on the cake.
Thank you, Nazar and Sreedhar. I'm confident that folk will find that not only interesting, but also extremely helpful. For those listening, you can, of course, contact ourselves or Ryan should you wish to discuss triangulation further or to share your own experiences dealing with and managing this challenge. So thanks again, Nazar and Sreedhar. Thanks to you for listening, and we look forward to talking to you all again in the next podcast edition.